It's Justin Prime, Jprimecast number 2. Oh, damn it. I forgot my rubber bands again. Sorry. I'm not going to re-record this. It is what it is. This past weekend, I've felt kind of crummy, a little bit sick, kind of powered through it, sacrificed sleep, and actually got a lot done. So if I'm coughing or clearing my throat, sorry, deal with it. Hopefully you get something out of this. I liked what I did last time where I was talking to somebody. So I'm going to do the same thing and just kind of call out whoever is the last person on my interactions feed. Sorry. But if you're in high school or you're a kid, I'm not going to say your name. If that felt creepy last time, I think that girl was like in high school or something. So it's got to be an adult. All right. So last person on my feed is Wiz Walnut. And I don't know how old this person is. I'm going to assume this person's not in high school, but I don't really know. You know what? I'm not going to take a chance because in their description it says young. So let's go. I just feel weird about it. Oh man. The next person I found is Status Chance TV. Seems like a good person here. One of their pictures is he's a dude dressed up as a Overwatch chick. I have no idea who these characters are, but all right. So we're talking to Status Chance. Thanks for showing up in my feed and for liking whatever. Oh, the picture of me and my daughter at Black Panther, which was really, really cool. And I'll mention that later on toward the end here. So, damn, sorry, guys. So this is Jprimecast number 2. This is my attempt to keep myself honest. Status Chance TV. It's just kind of like I call it taking my artistic inventory. Not like how many markers I have, but just where I'm at, the goals that I have, the progress I'm making, and what I need to do better. And I felt the need to do this just for myself, my own growth, but also I think there's an interest in my fellow artists that I follow and have reached out to me and whatnot. I think there's an interest in kind of knowing where other people are at, how to handle mental obstacles, set goals, stuff like that. What tools to use. So I'm kind of handling some of that stuff that I don't see other artists tackling or talking about, I guess. But I know there's a big need for it. And I've gotten some good feedback so far, and I look forward to this all week. So I'm actually pretty excited about it. One change that I'm going to make to Jprimecast, even though it's only episode 2, is I'm not going to do the JP reads. I want that to be its own thing, and I don't want this to become like a variety show kind of thing. I'm not here to like entertain you. Exactly. This is for me to try and connect with people and be more personal. So that's not going to happen. I might, comment on anything I've been into recently, but it's not going to take. It's just kind of like be a hit and run kind of thing. It'll be a quick thing. So, all right, let's just get into the meat and potatoes here. The projects that I'm working on again are Sculpture Stories issue 3, Astro Pig book 1, social media stuff, and this podcast, and just improving my artistic skills. Those are my 4 main ones. And I guess that on top of that, not just this podcast, but this past weekend I did 2, not interviews, but talks with other, I'll say amateur artists that want to do more, that want to grow, and might have something blocking them. So on top of this, the Jprimecast, I'm doing these other chit chats with artists that I call Artist Inventory Challenge, AIC. And those were both I really enjoyed them, and I think the 2 artists I talked to, Lab 5 Studios and Art of Jonathan Edward Mills, I think they enjoyed it as well. So yeah, that's I guess on top of everything else that I listed, I'm doing that. Plus, I'm taking my YouTube stuff a lot more seriously as well. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I'm kind of handling right now. And on top of all that, I was doing lunchtime requests. I think it's time to stop that again. Um, yeah. So I was doing lunchtime requests. I was also doing this thing where I was having my main character, my Scolders, kill off other people's creator-owned characters, and I did that a couple weeks ago, and I haven't done it since then. I don't think I will. It's really fun. I might do them every now and then, but I've kind of realized I need to start focusing more on Scolders in particular and Astropig. So those are my main projects. So next step is, all right, well, what progress did I make? For Scolder Stories, honestly, I don't feel like I made enough project in any of these. I'll just right off the bat. But I did make some. And this weekend I didn't do a damn thing. And on top of all the other stuff I listed, I was trying to sell some prints this weekend. That didn't take up too much time, but it's just another thing, trying to sell stuff. I was about to throw it all away because I'm tired of having it take up space, but I figured, you know what, let's do a shred sale, and I ended up selling 5 out of 6 of the packs. Made a nice little chunk of money, and I'll mail those out soon. But yeah, that's a whole nother piece to this. And then on top of all on top of all that, being a dad and whatnot, husband, but on top of all that, like, it's not like I just do the podcast. Like, I have to learn how to use Anchor, which is luckily really easy. And then I'm doing JP reads and time lapse for it and uploading it to YouTube. And so to do that, I have to sync the audio nicely. I have to do a nice thumbnail for the YouTube picture. So it's not just like these things I'm doing. There's all these little steps that are very time consuming. And damn, sorry guys. And it's taken away time from drawing, obviously. So because of all that, and I mean, I can't blame it on that, because of my choices to do all that, the progress in other areas is not good enough. It's not where it should be. So, all right, Scolder Stories, the progress I made this past week was I decided to take it more seriously and put more time into it. I will be cutting back on lunchtime requests and top original character, top OC, where I kill off other characters. Yeah, I'm going to stop doing those completely and put that time into designing, brainstorming stuff for issue 3. And so this week I actually got cracking on the Scolder design for one of the 2 Scolders in the book. It's Lance, and his twin sister is Annie. They are the Scolders. I got started on Lance's suit design, and I didn't. And so I made some content out of that, posted it to my Instagram and Vero, and asked for feedback from people just to vote on which one they like the most. So not only did I make some progress with that, but I turned it into a post and interaction as well. I'll talk about that later on. But yeah, so Scolder Stories, that was the progress. That was really it. Was brainstorming suit designs for him, and the suit is a really big deal. So I put some time into it, and made some progress there. For Astropig, no tangible progress, honestly. I still don't know. I didn't make any progress since I last talked about it in episode 1. The only thing I did kind of make a little bit of progress on would be I decided to not rely on anyone else to help me write it and just kind of do it myself. So I think that's something. Just kind of making that decision to move forward. And then also, I think I have some idea of what I might want it to sound like. The character Astropig, he catalogs everything he sees, because he goes to these planets and explores, and he writes down stuff. He describes the creatures because it's all new. So I think the book should have that tone of like cataloging, factual, recording it for the reader. Like the reader should be learning about these creatures and stuff in detail. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at right now. It might be kind of fun. It's at least like a springboard, like it's a place to start, and then I can tweak it from there or overhaul it or whatever. Progress on social media. I posted at least once a day. I think this entire week on Instagram and Vero. For YouTube, I am collaborating with one of my followers who volunteered to help me with editing some videos. And I offered up just to kind of be available to talk with him, answer questions. If he gets that stuff going, like that's just a huge favor for me, honestly. I feel like I'd be indebted to him. So that was progress. What else? For social media, and then the podcast. I've been really happy with doing. Actually, like, this has been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed this and talking to a couple artists. I have another one lined up for Wednesday night. It was cool. Yeah, I talked to someone from, I think it was Kansas, from Australia, and then I'm talking to someone local dude, pretty local, tomorrow on Wednesday night. So I've been actually having a lot of fun with this. It's cool, and I'm getting good response from people, and that's exactly what I wanted, was that kind of connection. And then I also extended the artist inventory challenge to all my followers. I put it on my Instagram stories, and I got a handful of responses from people answering those questions. That was really cool. If you're listening to this, take the challenge. It's answer my 3 questions. What you can do is go listen to episode 1 or 2, and you'll see the questions in the description of the podcast. But I guess I'll just tell you right now. The first question is, what progress have you made on your projects? Number 2 is, what obstacles were there? And number 3 is, what successes were there? So answer those 3 questions and DM me, or if you download the Anchor podcast, you can record yourself answering them, and then it kind of gets sent to me as like a voicemail kind of thing. I would love to play some of those on one of these podcasts and provide feedback if someone's interested in that, rather than just like sending me a message or a DM, or doing an actual talk with me. If you feel comfortable just recording your voice, like, send it on over. I'd love to hear it. All right. And then art skill progress on that project, on just improving my art skills. I don't think I did anything this week that was. No, I think I've just kind of realized that I'm stuck, and I need to. I think I realized I've been going back to like shortcuts, and I've been sort of incorporating shortcuts into what I'm learning, but not really fully grasping what I'm learning, and I need to go back to fundamentals, start all over again. Really just start over, start practicing all over again. So, yeah, I don't feel like I made enough progress there. So all in all, besides this podcast and social media, I think I made some progress there, but with everything else, I'm not content at all with that. So with what stumbles that I have, or what obstacles were there, with Sculpture Stories 3, obviously, like I said, not enough progress. The other, I guess I'm kind of combining all my questions together. Sorry, I keep breathing heavy. I got asthma on top of not feeling very well. So I'm just like totally nerding it up here with the asthma and the braces and the rubber bands. Yeah, with Sculpture Stories, I just don't feel like there's enough progress, but I have a remedy for that. I'm going to be putting more time into that. There's really no reason. There's no. The only obstacle there is me. I continually overload myself with stuff to do. Like, I stopped doing conventions so that I would have more time for sculptures, and I ended up at this point doing a ton of shit. So that's just that's just all on me. For some reason, I have a hard time doing just one thing at a time, and it's like I want to do it all at once, Um, like all the ideas I have that pop in my head seem like great ideas, and I want to do them all. I want to do the podcast and keep my YouTube current, and make a comic and a children's book, um, and improve my skills. And I want to do it all like at the same time, and that's not realistic, I don't think. No, it's not. Well, I mean, it's doable, but not if you work full time and have kids and a wife. It's not really doable. Uh, yeah. So that's just overall. That's a big obstacle of mine is doing too much at once. So yeah. So I'll be cutting out a couple things. I'll probably do the artist inventory challenge talks less often. I did 2 this weekend, and I got one on Wednesday night. Um, I should probably taper those down. Um, it might be time to stop taking commissions again. Yeah. So I can definitely cut back on those few things, but yeah, and spend more time with sculptures. Astropig, the obstacle there again is I have too much going on. But now that I have at least some direction, I can get back to writing, and I can find time for that. That's not too. Yeah, I can find time for that. um, and then obstacles with social media is I'm really getting into social media and connecting with people. Like I like that, and that's a huge goal of mine. And actually, a bigger goal of mine is to. And actually, I can do it right now. I have it on my. There's a page on my website about mentorship. I would like to do like a paid mentorship program where people can pay to talk to me and get my phone number and text me whenever they want. I don't know if I'm at that level yet. Professionally, I'm not. Um, but that's a bigger goal of mine, in for the near future, is to take on this mentorship kind of role and have like a paid mentorship, but also a free kind of option. Actually, that's available on my website right now if you want to check it out. But that's a bigger goal of mine. So doing all this social media stuff ties into that because I want to know how to do social media well, on top of everything else. So I think that's kind of important, um, as far as my bigger goal goes. And also by doing this stuff, I'm learning kind of with these questions I'm asking people. I'm learning where artists are stuck. Like I want to know that stuff and kind of tap into that as a way to help me kind of with a knowledge base, I guess, to build from for the future toward that bigger goal. Um, and talking to people and going through these questions is good practice as well, for me, in that kind of a role. Um, I've been doing that mentorship thing with Metcalf Illustrations. His name's Brendan Metcalf, and I have a series on YouTube and my website called Jprime and B Dog, where we record all of our 1 hour talks. It covers a lot, and I've really really enjoyed that process. I like it a lot. I'm thinking once that's over, in a few months, that I'll can maybe I'd like to take on another mentee mentor kind of role for free with someone. Um, it's a lot of fun. I really get a lot of that. I enjoy that process, and being able to help someone is really cool. And he's liked it anyhow. So I think a lot of the social media stuff right now is I'm building in that direction. On top of everything I'm doing, I have that bigger goal. Excuse me. So I have a lot of time going into non-projects right now, like lunchtime requests. Um, that it is pretty time consuming, and if I have time to do that at work, like on my lunch break, that means I have time to work on a project, and I probably should be doing that. So, and then obstacles with my artistic growth. Like I said, I don't feel like I've made really progress there, and I feel like the stuff that I have learned is getting watered down, and I'm trying to find shortcuts, and I'm not grasping the fundamentals. And it seems like actually understanding shapes and forms and shading and values. I mean, in anatomy, like you have to actually understand it. You can't fake it. And I have felt myself going back in that direction of faking it, but like upgraded faking, I guess. Like I'm still not grasping it fully. I need to really push that. I'm not gonna let that stop me from taking, like, I'm not like I'll start issue 3 before I've mastered fundamentals. That's not gonna stop me from like moving on. But yeah. But I mean, I still want to tackle it head on as fast as I can. And I've stalled in that area. So that all sucks. That was a ton of negative, I think. But I did mention some successes. Scolder Stories, Lance's suit. I'm getting closer to finalizing that tonight. I spent a little bit more time on that while my son was going to sleep. I was coloring a couple more suit options. The Android design contest did finish. Lab 5 Studios won that with an incredible Android design I'm really excited about. So I have the Android design is set for issue 3. Lance's Scolder suit is nearly done. Annie's Scolder suit will be based off of Lance's because I want them to kind of be close to each other. So that'll take care of itself, I am hoping. And the script is pretty much done. That's all positive. Right? Cool. Yeah, so there's some good stuff. Astro Pig, I decided, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it on my own, and that was the exact same attitude I had with Scolder Stories issue 1, and I think that worked to my advantage. I like handling everything all on my own. So honestly, doing those design contests is really helpful, but I feel like I'm giving up a piece of control, which is really hard for me. So deciding with Astro Pig, like, fuck it, I'm not gonna wait for anyone. I'm doing it on my own. That kind of that feels natural to me. I'm fine with that, and that motivates me. That fuck it kind of attitude, So I feel like I'm kind of right where I need to be with that. If I want someone's help, I should just hire them. And yeah, that's not gonna happen because that shit's expensive. So fuck it, I can do it. I got this. That's my attitude right now. Number 3, wins or successes with social media and the podcast. I've come up with a weekly structure for the podcast. I want this, to be a little bit more structured. I've cut out the lunchtime requests. Yeah, I guess I have. I'm sad to say that, but yeah, I have. I'll be stopping lunchtime requests to have more time for designing right now. I did the artist inventory challenge twice this weekend, one more time on Wednesday, like I mentioned. That's all positive for me. I'm really excited about it. And the shred sale, I made some nice little chunk of change this weekend from selling shit that I was about to throw away. So all positives there. Oh, and then honestly, like I've had a handful of people that have reached out to me in DMs and answered those questions. Like that's a huge positive for me, and being able to chit chat with them just in Messenger, not Messenger, but the Instagram Messenger. That's a huge positive for me. I love that. I like knowing where everyone's at. Sorry. What else? Artistic skills, any successes there? I don't feel like there is, besides just kind of realizing that I need to stop faking it. Status Chance TV. I've been faking it, dude, and I need to work on that. So that's my AIC, my artistic inventory challenge for myself. One other positive also is I've decided that Sunday nights are going to be my podcast, Jprimecast time to record and edit and upload, so that on Monday morning you guys have something to listen to. So that gives me a little bit of structure, which I really need. I need like some structure. I feel like it'd be helpful to have something planned out every night on what I'm working on. Like Mondays are Scolder Story nights, Tuesdays are Astro Pig, but that doesn't work out for me because I have a wife and kids. So like tonight I was going to hang out with my wife more, but she fell asleep. So I rushed downstairs and started recording this. Otherwise I was going to do it at like 11 at night. So it's hard to plan that out, but Sunday night, no matter how tired or how late it is, this is podcast night. I want to record this and keep myself to this structure. So that's a huge success for me, I think, is having that planned out, because everything else is just kind of happenstance. And I kind of want to build on that. You know what I mean? Like maybe, what I could do is actually, instead of lunchtime requests, I could do that as like fundamental practice. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, I might do something like that. Excuse me. All right. So that was my 3 questions, or my update on those 3 questions for myself. It really helps to know that I'm recording this and that people are listening. It really does. Like, it helps. Like I said, I think I said last time, I can't half-ass it. Like, I want to make progress for myself, but now that it's recorded for people to hear and that you guys know what's in my head, like, I really got to make progress. All right, so the tools that I'm using, last time I talked about a couple things. I wanted to give you what is it? One more thing. I think I mentioned last time Anchor, but I will mention again. I want to kind of reiterate. Anchor is actually, it's been really pretty damn kick ass. It's super easy to use. I did my 2 chit chats with this past weekend on Anchor. We just connected. It's like a phone call. We just, and it records it for you and is available as a podcast like right away. So I love. I've been really happy with Anchor, and I've noticed that at least some people have listened to it through, what the hell's the Apple software? I don't use Apple. I don't use the Apple phone. IO9 or something like that. They've listened to it on their phone somehow, I think. People have found it on Google Play and have come over to Anchor. So there's different platforms that are popping up. A few of them, I have to figure out how to do more, but so far Anchor has been really pleasant. Honestly, I definitely recommend you use it if you're interested in a podcast, or if you're interested in sending me a voicemail answering those 3 questions. Download Anchor, record a message, send it to me. All right, so that was that. Just a little reiteration of last week. This week, I definitely recommend Wix as a website platform. I've been using it for maybe a year now. I had built the website for something else entirely, and I loved it, and so I moved my art website from Weebly over to Wix. Weebly was really good. And no huge complaints about Weebly, really, but Wix, I don't know, felt a little bit more intuitive. I felt like I can do more with it, and it didn't seem to be like nickel and diming me as much as Weebly. So I think Wix is definitely worth the money, and I keep finding new apps and like capabilities that it has. So, yeah, Wix I definitely recommend as website platform. So this past week, I already mentioned this. This past week, I used Wix to update my website. I did. I made it mobile friendly. So before, it was usable on mobile, but it wasn't friendly. Like it didn't feel natural. So I spent some time on it this week and updated it, a lot of it, and it should flow a lot better. So check it out on mobile if you haven't yet. But like, everyone's using their phones, obviously. I don't know the last time I went to my desktop to like explore a website. I know I have, but like it's all done on phone now. So like, if your website's not mobile friendly, it's not accessible. So I want to make sure that people could enjoy my site on their phone or tablet or whatever the hell. And so now it is. I think it is. If you don't agree, give me some feedback. I'm willing to switch it up. I'm not married to the way it is. And I discovered that that Wix has a really nice video player thing. So I just link it up to my YouTube, so it keeps stats for YouTube still, which is great. And yeah, it's a really nice video player that fits nicely on the phone or on the computer or whatever. So I was really happy with that. And I've really been, like I said, I made my YouTube videos available on my website. I really want my website to be a hub that people can come to get any of my content. I don't have like an Instagram feed on there, and I don't know if I really want to. I mean, maybe I could. I don't think so. But my videos are there. Podcasts can be listened to there. There's a little gallery there. There's a Q&A about what tool, not Q&A, but there's info on what tools I'm using, like what I'm drawing with and inking with, or whatever the hell. So I I'm sorry. Yeah, I really want my website to be a hub. I used to have it where I wanted people off my website as fast as possible. I don't know why I did that. Well, I know why, but the goal was to get people, if they came to my website, all they really saw was my links to social media, because I wanted people going to my social media. So I used to use my website for that. Now it's my central hub, and I'm using my social media as a filter to my website, which has the store and the gallery and the videos and podcasts and everything. It's all there, but it keeps stats for the actual platforms that are hosting, like the podcast and the videos and whatnot. So yeah, that was a big success. I feel was this week. I spent some time updating my website. All right. Next part is who I'm impressed with or inspired with that I follow. If you're not following Brian Shearer already, I'm talking to you, Status Chance TV, and everybody else listening. If you're not following Brian Shearer, let me look him up here real quick. I want to make sure. Yeah, it's Brian_Shearer. You need to follow him. He draws Transformers like nobody else. Like, he's really good. It's crazy how he can just bust those out. And I asked him, or I made a comment on one of his pictures, like, my brain doesn't work that way or whatever. Like, how do you do that? I don't know. Something like that. And he said it took many, many years of practice, and it was very like straightforward, easy, understandable answers. Like, oh yeah, duh, he just did it a lot, and that's why he's really good at it. But he's a talented artist. And he's got these he posts these out of context comic panels every now and again. I like those a lot. It's just these random panels that don't make sense or are weird, and he posts them, and I get a kick out of those. But so what that was, he's already enjoyable to follow in the first place. He's very responsive. But then I realized he had posted something on Instagram, I think, announcing that he was doing a YouTube Q&A, and I guess he does those once a month, and I had no idea. And I watched. I didn't get to watch it live because it was already over. But I watched the the recorded version on YouTube, and he goes way in depth. He answers anything and everything. It seems like it seems like a very, very handy little resource for people like you and me. So yeah, Brian_Shearer. I believe he works for IDW. He's got a pretty interesting artist origin story he was sharing in the latest Q&A. But he's definitely worth a follow. He's just cool. It seems like cool people, like good people, He's very kind to artists. Like, he gets it, and he's responsive, which I love. All right, next section here. What follower I noticed in a positive way? I can think of a lot, but I'm going to focus on, I'll give you 4. But there's more. Like, I keep thinking of people, but I don't want, this could go on forever. So I'll give you 4, pretty quick. The first one is Lab 5 Studios, Luke Brown. He won the contest for the Android design for issue 3. So, I mean, just the fact that he entered it is awesome. Like, that anyone entered it and wanted to pitch in and not get paid, it's just amazing. Like, what am I doing? I'm giving him credit in the book. I'll probably send him a signed book. And I don't know, other stuff, but yeah, like, that's just, he really, just did it to kind of help out, pitch in, support, and have fun. And that's just cool. That's really awesome. So that stuck out to me, obviously. And then he did a podcast with me. He took the Artist Inventory Challenge, and that was a lot of fun. I loved his Australian accent a lot. And then art of Jonathan Edward Mills. It's art underscore of underscore Jonathan Edward Mills, all one word. He did the AIC with me as well. That was very enjoyable. Had some nice back and forth with him in the DM. So thank you, Jonathan Edward Mills. I like my time with you, man. He also entered the competition, and he actually came in second. His design was great. So thank you both. That meant a lot to me, and I hope hopefully you know that. And then the next two are Halfro American. It's at Halfro American, and a guy named Lior. I don't want to give his last name, but his name is Lior. He's someone, I think he's in the UK, and I know he follows me through Facebook page. One of the few people there. Um, but both of them bought something from me recently and just kind of threw in a little extra, and that's just that's just really cool. Like they both felt like I was giving them more value than they were getting or paying for, I guess. And that's what I want. Like you don't have to. That's my goal, is to provide more value than I'm getting. But they both took it upon themselves to say, "Hey, here's a little extra." That's just really cool. I mean, that's I remember that, and it no matter how much it is, like that's just cool. I really appreciate that a lot. That means a lot to me, guys. Thank you very much. All right, so we'll do real quick what I've been into. Yeah, without the JP reads, this will be a shorter podcast. Tell me how you feel about that. Like DM me or whatever. Let me know how you feel about it being a little bit shorter. Yeah, I don't want to just like fill in this to have stuff to talk about. I want to kind of get to the point and move on. You know what I mean? But just real quick, stuff that I've been into. I haven't read any comics at all. Just time wise, it just hasn't really happened. I will continue to read the Ultimate Fantastic Four, and I want to start reading the Savage Dragon. I read that back in probably high school, and I found issue number 1 in my garage, and I was like, I should start reading this again. So I hear it gets crazy, and it's got like it's mature content or something. So that's something I would like to start reading, but no rush on that. TV shows or movies. I just got finished watching The Push on Netflix. That was fucking crazy. That was really cool ending. Um, it was only like an hour. That was definitely worth an hour. My wife and I started watching it. She fell asleep, but I kept watching it. But it was super cool, super cool. I like that stuff, like that head stuff, that psychology kind of stuff. Or sociology. Actually, my bachelor's is in sociology. My master's is in psychology. So that was right up my alley. That was cool. Then I saw Black Panthers today with my daughter. Luckily, she's still into that kind of stuff. I don't think she's outgrown it or become too stereotypically girly. So she's still kind of into some of the things that I'm into. And my son's not old enough, so she and I got to go hang out and watch that this afternoon, and it was a phenomenal movie. I thought Black Panther was way overpowered. Like it was just obscene, but like I thought it was too much. But otherwise, just beautiful movie. The visually outstanding. The audio was great. The acting was cool. I was really worried that I don't know the actor's name, but the guy playing Black Panther, I didn't think he'd be able to carry a solo movie just because the character is so stoic, like so quiet. But it worked perfectly, especially up against the other actors. Like it paired really nicely. The main villain, was phenomenal. I love that. I think it's kind of, and it's not a cop out because it's from the source material of the comics, but I always think it's kind of weak when the villain is like a mirror image of the good guy. Like Killmonger is Black Panther, or Abomination is the Hulk. It's the same thing. What else? Iron Man. Who was Iron Man's villain? The big iron guy. I think it was probably number 1. It was like you know what I'm talking about. But it was just like another Iron Man, but bigger. Usually that's pretty unimpressive, but Killmonger, not the suit and everything, but like, which was cool, but Killmonger, the character I thought was phenomenal. I don't know what he's like in the actual comic. I never read it, but the villain was really, really cool. It was great. So I don't know if you give a shit about that stuff, but and like I don't want to go into that too much, maybe even if at all, because you can hear that anywhere. If you want to know what people think about it, like it's out there already. I'm 3 weeks late. I have thought about doing. All right, here's what I've thought about doing. The first thing I really kind of want to do is, along with the JP reads, like if I'm like this past one I read, Kendrick Lamar, uh, to be either as part of this, probably not, or as part of the JP reads is to read the YouTube comments, like the YouTube comments on that video. The YouTube comments are hysterical. I would like to start reading those. Or the hell else those? I totally forgot what I was going to say. Oh, or do a a segment, maybe not as part of the Jprimecast, maybe a separate thing, but do a segment called Way Late Movie Review, where I do a movie review, but it's like I don't watch things when they come out. It's always way after the fact. So this is 3 weeks later. That might be considered way late. I didn't see Spider-Man Homecoming until it came out until it was released, on digital. So yeah, way late movie review or JP reads like YouTube comments. I kind of want to sneak those in somehow, but I'm not going to prioritize it at all. All right. Well, that was that. Status Chance TV. Thanks for listening. And thank you everybody else for listening as well. I'm liking these. These are pretty fun, and makes me think, makes me focus. And now I need to step it up, like I really do. Hey, thanks for listening, guys.